Hi, and welcome to today's devotional. Of course, you know my lovely wife Linda, and I'm Dan, and we are going to look in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 11 and 12. And then Linda's going to have a little message for us. So, persecutions, afflictions which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra, what persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. Yea, and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution.
Have you ever thought about how many persecutions we've suffered throughout our life? Uh, from being a child, we even had persecutions and didn't realize we were struggling in this life and that God helps us through everything. You know, when we have a persecution, if it wasn't for the Lord, how would we get through uh, all this? So in verse 11, it said, the Lord delivered me. Well, he delivers us on every persecution, as long as we persevere. We're doing very well in our Christian life, when we persevere, and because we know that Christ delivers us through everything. And if we live godly, that's another thing. But I think about all these children that go to school and are bullied and they suffer persecution about different things, about maybe not having lunch money, maybe not having breakfast to eat, or things like that. And sometimes they don't eat at school. Some of them don't, and uh, even though they can get fed, anyway, um, uh, sometimes if the parents make a little more money than usual, they don't get free lunches or reduced lunches and breakfast. But and that's persecution on a child. Think about all our children that we have that persevere through hungriness and through their life going to school. And, we had to persevere in some things, when we were growing up, the same way. I can remember that, sometimes I didn't eat breakfast. It wasn't because my mother didn't fix nothing. It's because I went out the door at the last minute, just getting to school and didn't eat, but we always come home for lunch because we couldn't afford to eat lunch at school or breakfast at school or anything like that. So we had to come home for lunch each day. And I was one of the lucky ones. There's a lot of people that's not lucky. So uh, going through this, uh, going through all this, a person endures a lot through their life. And that was just an example that I want to give you about the children, how they go through a lot too. But God delivers us all. He delivers each one of us. And what he's doing is teaching us that through him is how we survive in this life, in this world.
Yeah, as you're young and you have things you have to learn to overcome,
Yes.
that gives you training, and then it shows you that God will, as long as you're with God, He will help you overcome. Now, it gets harder as people start actually throwing things in front of you,
Right.
as opposed to just, life general stuff that happens.
Yeah.
And we learn at an early age that we can overcome this, and we learn to depend on God to get us through these things.
Well, when we're children, God gives us strength. And He gives us strength to go through all these things that we go through in life. So, because, as a child, sometimes, even though we've not accepted Christ at that time, God knows what's before us. God knows that we're going to accept Him. And He opens our life up to show us, and He's teaching us along the way even though, like, I didn't accept Christ until I was 16 years old, but I knew all about him. You know, I knew that he was there with me. He was there every step of the way with me. I knew it. I knew it in my heart, you know. But then when I opened my heart up to him, then that's when I learned, after I got saved, that Jesus delivered me from a lot of things that, you know, could have happened in my life, and some things that happened in my life. He delivered me. Well, you know, he delivers other people the same way. He delivers our children. He delivers the adults. He delivers Christians. He delivers people all over. And a lot of times when he's delivering people, it's because one day they're going to open their heart up to Christ and they're going to accept him.
Yeah.
And but he is our creator. He knows all. Now some people say that Jesus does not hear you or anything when you're a sinner. But I just don't always think that way. I believe that, you know, God created us. He knows what's going on in our life. You know, he knows when we call out to him. I believe he knows, you know, he knows our heart, and he knows when it's time for us to be saved. So that's when we open our hearts up. But anyway, I hope this encouraged you a little bit to know that from the time we're children, that we persevere through these struggles in our life, and God reaches out and he delivers us. And he is so good to us. I mean, we don't have anybody on this earth that could be as good to us as he is to us, because him being our creator. And he loves us today, and he gives us joy and happiness. And even though we go through a lot of things in our life, and just like me and Dan don't have an air condition, we got a little air condition, but it don't, you know, it don't cool the whole house. But I want to tell you, I'm thankful for just that little bit, because God delivered us from the heat. So even in our kitchen, it feels good and cool, you know, and I can say it's not 90 degrees in here. So God delivers us, and he delivered us even from the hot heat, you know, being in our home. And I'm thankful for that. So I hope that encourages you to think back on how much you made it through life by God's help, and that he loves you, and he wants you to have that joy and happiness in your life. You got anything else to say?
No, thank you for that, Linda.
All righty.
Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye everyone.